Is there anything specific that you've seen from Jonathan Taylor in the last month or so that you can point to that has made him look like a different running back at times?
Confidence and reps. I mean, really, that is as simple as it can be. Confidence and reps. He just keeps getting reps. He keeps getting better. He just keeps seeing it over and over and over again, and he's building confidence from that. And you can really see that the confidence is a crazy thing, and momentum and confidence is a great thing to have, and he's got that, and he's playing really good football right now.
Jim Milo.
Yeah, Nick, we asked Jonathan about this, I think, at the end of the game last week, but he didn't run. He runs some shotgun at Wisconsin, not a lot. You guys are in shotgun quite a bit. What's the adjustment like for a running back who's trying to run a little bit more out of shotgun running versus somebody lining up behind the quarterback and
Yeah, I think there's definitely an adjustment. That there's an adjustment to NFL defenses. There's an adjustment to the speed of the NFL game and the player of the NFL game. And there's adjustments to the type of offense you're running and the type of plays you're running and the sets that you're running it off of. And so it's just the rep thing of getting more reps of it and us being smart of when to be in shotgun, when not to be in shotgun to help him out also with that. It's not something where we say, hey, because we run shotgun, you're going to do shotgun. Well, if it doesn't fit the player, then we shouldn't do it. It's not, yes, we have a system and yes, we have things that we want to do. But the first thing that we want to do is run the plays and run the things that our players do best. So it's a both and it's both, adapting to what the player can do and then, doing what we do as a group. So I think it's just, again, the same thing of getting reps of it and getting confidence in it.
Mike Chappell.
Nick, we talk to Flus all the time about his defensive approach, and it's all based on hustle and flying to the ball. Do you guys have a similar standard on offense, or is this a defense-offense difference?
Being around Coach Flus and seeing his defense hustle and seeing his defense play with the type of intensity flying around that we see, it only took about a month of us being here that we never had anything like that as an offense, but we adapted because we saw the benefit of it and made our own standards of what a finish is and what a hustle is based off of, just the influence from Coach Flus. And so really grateful for him for that. And you can see his team, his defenses do that week in, week out. And it's no secret that they do it in practice too. And because they do it in practice, it was either, I think it was a little bit was either adapt or get run out the gym. You know what I'm saying? As the phrase would go, adapt and or get exposed at practice. So it was, we've always had a standard of, yes, we hustle. Yes, we finish. Yes, we do this, but we put kind of standard on it after, being with Flus for a little bit. And his hustle, I say all this to say, the adapt and practice, the way they practice obviously makes us better. The reason I think we're good at protecting the football and protecting is because of how crazy they are at coming after it. So, it's not everybody practices that way, and really glad and that we get a defensive coordinator and a defense that plays as hard and finishes as hard as they do, because it's made us better and for multiple different reasons. Really grateful to the type of coach Flus is, and the respect. I can just see the respect that his players have for him. He's a heck of a football coach, and he's made me a better coach.
Just a quick follow-up on that, without naming names unless you want to. Do you notice other defenses not hustling to that level when you play them from week to week?
Sure. It's a different mode that they're in. It is. It's a different mode. Now some other defenses are like them as well, but you can see, you see the teams that are attacking the ball and then that aren't. It's funny. We said something in our film, and I won't tell you what week, that we were running something, we ran a play, we caught a ball, and we turned upfield, and you can noticeably see the defensive back slow down because he didn't have the angle to tackle our receiver. And we said it in our offensive meeting, like Flus would have his butt right there. I'll tell you that. And so it's noticeable, and a lot of credit to him.
You don't want to share who it was?
You said that you gave me the out there, so I'm not going.
Darn. Thanks.
Joel Erickson.
What is it about a play that makes it like that gets it on the fourth down call sheet? What are you guys looking for on a play?
Do we have confidence in it? Do we have confidence in the scheme? First of all, do we have confidence in the player that's going to be targeted on that? And most definitely the reason it's on there is because the answer is yes. Do we have confidence in the scheme that we've seen it versus different looks and different things, and has answers versus different things? So it's players and confidence, really, and the player breeds, the player that it's designed for breeds confidence for us. And do we know all the finer coaching points of that play? Is there anything do we know how to coach this play in our sleep, versus this look or that look, or so that's a good question, Joel, and that's that those are two things that really come to the top of my mind. Haven't thought about that like in the way you asked it, but good question. Those are the two things that come to my mind right now.
You mentioned if it has answers, and it feels like a lot of times when Frank's explaining a fourth down call, he says that there were options on the play. Is that something you guys like to have, where you can give Phillip choices, or Jacoby, because both of your guys can make those decisions?
Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. That we just want the different. If they do this, we can do this. We're not just locked into this guy or this thing. So most definitely, without getting too much information out, most definitely.
Stephen Holder.
And it, maybe weird question, but like if you didn't know who Quenton Nelson was and you just turned the tape on and watched him taking that series at left tackle the other day, could you tell that he was not a left tackle based on the way he played?
He did a good job when he went in there. He did a really good job when he went in there. And I guess the quick answer is no, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell. He looked the part. He fit the part. He did his job. That's not easy to do. And he did it, and he did it well for a series. And it's really credit to him, because he could do a lot of things. I think, like I said, the one thing that we know he wasn't doing good, he didn't do good at, was carrying the ball in the red zone. So maybe that fullback thing's the one thing he can't do. But everything else, yeah, he's a pretty talented guy. I know you guys have seen that video of him. Maybe you haven't, but there's a video of him making an unbelievable behind the back pass. Have you guys seen this in basketball?
Yeah.
Incredible.
I gotta look that up then. Okay.
Incredible what he does. And I can't remember how the guy finished. I want to say he dunked it, but I don't remember that. All I could think about was this behind the back pass he made. So I know I'm transitioning into basketball. I just think he's the type of guy that, you go out and play pool with him, he beats you at pool. And if he doesn't beat you at pool, he jams you up into the wall. And next time he beats you up because you don't want to beat him again. He just strikes me as a guy that's good at a lot of things, and super talented kid. Just a big part of this football team and what we want to do and how we want to play.
And athletic enough to deal with the speed out there too, right? I mean, because you got to cover so much more space, and you got to, obviously you got to reach a certain point. I mean, you wouldn't even have tried it, I'm sure, if you weren't confident in his athleticism. Most definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. A great athlete. Look at that video of that behind the back pass. I'll explain it. That's etched in my mind forever. So yeah, great athlete, great physicalness, great football player. One of our leaders on this team that speaks to what we want to do and be on as an offense.
Mike Wells.
Hey, Nick, you mentioned earlier with Jonathan, you said one of the biggest things is his confidence. There was a stretch early on, earlier in the season where he lost some snaps to Naheem and Jordan. Did you guys get a sense that maybe he either hit a rookie wall or he lost some confidence? And if so, what did you guys do to get him back on track?
I never really sensed it, that he had lost confidence. I really don't. And I think he handled not getting all the carries and him getting some of the carries because he was hot, or Jordan getting some of the carries because he was hot at the time. I think he handled that like truly like a pro. Of course, he wanted to get all those carries that they were getting, but he's a pro, and he handled it like a pro. You know, he didn't complain. He just said, "Hey, next time I get out there, I'm gonna make the most of my opportunities," and he's done that. So big credit to him. Yes, we are still to this, you know, we're gonna ride the hot hand as far as our backs to keep them fresh and mix them up a little bit. But he's definitely shown that he's capable of being a top dog in the NFL. And, you know, I think last game was really, you know, just really showed that of how, you know, how good he ran. And he's got a great coach in Coach Rathman as far as getting him back and getting his confidence back and get whatever it was. Coach Rathman is one of the best running back coaches in the NFL, and really helps him out tremendously.
Does it take time to get used to that? I mean, like last game, I mean, you guys rolled him on that first drive, and then there was a gap where he didn't get a lot of snaps. And of course, people on social media are wondering what the heck were you guys doing? But then we saw what happened in the second half. Is it a kind of a adjustment period when, you know, you're used to getting so many carries, and then you may go a series or two not touching the ball?
I think most definitely. I think they see, but I think what they see is that they're fresh when the defense might not be fresh later in the game. You know, where they're not used to tackling them for the whole game. And so I think that there's most definitely, I think every one of those guys in the backfield probably feels that way. Jordan, Jonathan, and Naheem. Like, well, hey, I need to get going. I need to touch the ball. Because of the competitiveness, the competitors that they are, and just wanting to be able to make plays and help this team. And so I think that it's probably an adjustment for all of them, but they've done a good job of handling it and being ready when their number is called.
Jim Milo?
Yeah, Nick, I just got to know what the reaction was when you guys were looking at film and seeing Zach Pascal pancake the guy.
Zach, Zach came up to me on the plane and showed me, he's like, hey, look at this one. I wasn't there on the tape yet. He said, hey, you like this right here? And I'm like, oh man, I like that. I just think that a lot of the times the most physical team wins the football game. And I know that's not 100% of the time, but the more physical team, and we know this is a physical sport, and the physical team wins the game. And when you can get physical play from your receivers, then, you know, that really helps out tremendously. And Zach sets the tone for a lot, you know, that people feed off Zach, and he smoked that guy on that chip, and Anthony Costanzo really didn't have to do anything but put his hands on him and keep him there. And I know that Anthony liked that. And then, but it's not just that, it's the way Zach protects. It's the way he blocks. It's the way he carries the football when he has the football in his hands. It's the way he runs his routes and moves off people. So he's just a physical player, and that's why we value him so much, that he brings this physicalness to a physical sport and that we feed off of, and that, you know, is productive for us. So I know I've said this before. I tell Zach this, and the guys make fun of me when I say this, but I want my sons now to play football like Zach Pascal, and I hope he knows that that's the biggest honor I can give him right there, is to say that, because I want him to be physical. I want him to be, you know, all those things that Zach Pascal is, even though his dad wasn't a very physical player, and myself, you know, so I wasn't a very physical player.
I got it.
We'll play like Zach, not me.
We didn't misunderstand you. We got you. Sorry.
We'll do two more. Joel Erickson.
Nick, obviously you guys have Mo's emergence and the way you guys have used the tight ends. You've talked about this before, but is it still good to have Philip was talking on Sunday about how to have have the over route to Jack and get him a couple more catches? Because obviously the first 2 years with you guys, he was a much bigger part of the target share. Is it nice just to, even if you guys, the philosophy is to move it around, to have that game where Doyle has a couple plays like that?
Yeah, I think so. You know, he's a Jack. I mean, I put the tape on too with Jack, and he's always doing the right thing to either get himself open or to open up a hole for a back or to get somebody else open. So it's nice to reward him for that. And, you know, it's just three, you know, you're rotating between three guys now. You're rotating catches in between three guys. I think if you look at the production of our tight ends and you look at the production of other teams' tight ends, you know, I know that other teams have, you know, they have one guy with a lot of catches. And then maybe, you know, if you look at all three of our guys combined, we got that, right? We got that one, we got that production from that group. And it's a group effort. They all do things a little bit differently, but always want to always feed off that when Jack gets going. And when Jack has, you know, does some things like he did in the game the other day, obviously everybody feeds off that because everyone loves Jack as a teammate. You know, they root for his success. They love when he has success because of what he does for them to help them out. So always like when he gets involved, and it is always a priority to get him involved. It's just sometimes it goes to him. Sometimes he's splitting the reps, and it's just the way it's been this year as far as our production. We've had a lot of guys produce, maybe not the numbers that they have in the past, but as a whole produce for the greater good of the team.
And then we'll do last question, Kent Sterling.
Hey, Nick. Can you explain why over the last 2 weeks, T.Y. Hilton has looked like T.Y. Hilton and been used like T.Y. Hilton? Has it been T.Y.? Has it been scheme? Has it been the defense? What's the reason for his success the last 2 weeks?
I think a little bit of everything you just said, right? It's a little bit T.Y., you know, it's a little bit of the scheme of, you know, the emphasis of getting him the football, which we always have the emphasis of getting it to him, but the little bit of the defense and a little bit that, you know, he's just getting better with each week of the season as the season goes. All I do know is when he has the football and when we're getting him the football, I know it's good for our offense and good for our team as a whole.